Hi, how are ya? It's Traviseen here, and welcome back to our adventures in Azeroth. Last episode, we stopped the Dark Enclave from summoning an old god. And that old god looked like Cthulhu, but I'm not too sure, but that's what he looked like. And today, we are going to start our quest chain here with Earthmender Torlock. It is here that Gul'dan severed the tie between orcs and the elemental spirits. His unquenchable thirst for power could not be satiated with the complete annihilation of the Draenei. He had to also destroy Draenor, razing that land and siphoning all of its energies for use in his war. Now all that is left are remnants of his madness. Look at the altar, Undead. The land is forever haunted.
Be safe.
Enraged spirits of fire and earth, we must try and make amends. We must commune with the elements of this region and see if anything can be done. I grant you the Totem of Spirits, Undead. If you slay an enraged elemental spirit in close proximity to the totem, it will consume the elemental soul. You must use the totem to consume many souls before you may return. Do this for the spirits of earth and fire. First, return to me when the totem is full. Alright, so we gotta go fight some elementals.
Your blades never dull.
See how this goes. I don't think any of them are frost, so we should be fine. Or any water elementals. Water elementals are the ones we have the most trouble with. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well today. Doing pretty good. And I've been checking out PlayStation, seeing what they're up to. And a lot of people are bigging up this new Horizon VR Call of the Mountain game. Supposedly it's going to be a pretty good VR game. And there's been news that PlayStation seems to be really focusing on VR. So I'm interested to see what they do with it in the future. Because they need to find an edge somehow. It seems like Microsoft is trying to buy up all of the AAA companies. So they're going to have to differentiate themselves. And I've heard it's pretty good. There's a lot of people bigging it up. I just don't know if I'll ever really get into VR. I've given it a try and I've gotten motion sickness from it. I've said this millions of times on the channel, I think. And I just don't know if I'd ever, make the jump to VR. But never say never. You never know. If there is ever a time where the game of the year is a VR game, then yeah, that's going to be when things start to shift. I think. Alright, so let's get this totem here. And make sure we put it down when we're fighting these elementals. And I finally got my weak auras set up on my druid. So we will start seeing druid starting to, accumulate a little bit of gear. Trying to get ready to fight the Lich King one day. See how that goes. Probably just going to do heroics and battlegrounds at the beginning. And I hope I can play Boomkin. I played a lot of Resto Druid and TBC. So I'm hoping I can Boomkin this time around, but we'll see if I can find a spot in a raid as a Boomkin. So I will start posting some dungeon videos soon on the channel. Try to get some gear. Maybe a couple of BGs as well, because the honor gear is actually pretty good too. that totem didn't work too far away. And the mage is going to be hitting 70 soon. And I'll probably do the same thing that we did when he hit 60. It'll pretty much be the same Let's Play, but I'm going to restart it at episode 1 again when we get to Northern. Because I just think that's a better way of doing it. Some people just want to watch, you know, Northern. Some people like TVC. And some viewers really only like vanilla. I wonder if they'll do a VR game for Resident Evil 4 Remake, like an updated version. I know they do a lot of Resident Evil VR games. That was the first VR game I ever played. Maybe that's why I got so nauseous. Because it was pretty nasty. They did it, and it was on PlayStation. It was PS4, but I could imagine, like, now, VR is probably a lot better on PlayStation. And I wonder how Facebook's doing with VR. I heard they lost, like, this, like, amazing developer. I think his last name's Carmack or something like that. And he was one of the developers for the game called Doom. And he supposedly stopped working with Meta, which is kind of like a big blow for VR. It seems like probably one of the main developers for VR at Meta, I think. And I remember, like, watching a podcast with him. I think he was in it. And he said the best VR game is Beat Saber, which is a game where you just have, like, these, like, lightsabers, or, like, swords, whatever you want to call them. And music plays and you just hit notes as they come at you. And he said the reason why it's good is because it just works really well with the handles, and the person can just feel really immersed while playing it, and that makes sense. Because it must be really hard to make someone actually feel like they're, you know, shooting a bow or swinging a sword while they're in VR. There's always that sense of, like, this isn't what swinging a sword would feel like, you know what I mean? I think Star Wars VR would be kind of cool. Wonder how that would work. And also another thing about Beat Saber is that you're stationary. They're not, like, running around. I think that'll always be, like, kind of an issue with VR. Is when you're, like, standing still in real life, but in the game you're, like, moving at, like, high speeds. That would always feel kind of weird. I'm not too sure how they're going to fix that. I think that's why I got motion sickness, because it was just like, my brain's like, this isn't what this is supposed to be like. But who knows, maybe it could be another reason. Like, this is what WoW VR would kind of look like. It'd be like this. You could cast a spell. You just, like, throw it at the mob. I think having the UI around would look so weird. I'm not too sure how UI is like in VR games. You don't want too much, that's for sure. I don't know, maybe I'm just old. I think that could be it too. It's usually a sign of being old is when you're like can't wrap your head around new technology. Alright, so how many more are we? I think we need a couple more of these guys. I should probably have a bite to eat here. Get that spirit buff, a little bit of stam as well. I wonder if I bring this mob over here, will the totem consume it? It's getting kind of close. Should be enough. That worked. I wonder what our slash blade is on this guy for now. Let's see. 8 days, 19 hours, and 44 minutes. I always tend to round down because there is like time where I'm just like chilling out in an inn because I'm like getting the episode going, so we could round down to 8 days. That's a lot of time in an inn though, but at least like, you know, 5 hours I would say maybe. But yeah, 8 days is it's pretty long. We're getting close to 9. But I'm not really going fast, you know what I mean? I think, like, where I'm at right now is, like, how long it would take someone to get to 80, and I'm, like, at 68 right now. So I have been really chilling, leveling up professions. We put in a solid amount of hours just fishing and mining and leveling up engineering. Takes up a decent amount of time. So if I didn't do those things, I would probably be 80 by now, I would guess. Or it'd be pretty damn close. I think a typical time for a player to level a character, the max level in Classic WoW, it's usually like 7 days. 7 to 8 days. And that's if you're like not going fast, but you're mostly focused on just leveling. The way you're leveling is, you know, you're queued up for a dungeon, and you're just questing while you wait, and then, you know, you can jump into a dungeon whenever you can. I think that's like probably the fastest way to level in Classic and Retail. Maybe sometimes doing dungeons isn't worth it if there's no quest to do in them. Sometimes maybe it's better to quest instead. Alright, so those are the earth elementals. Now we just gotta find the fiery spirits here. It's the enraged earth spirits. I'm gonna have to do a little micro menu here. The funny thing is, it was working. I thought it was fixed, but it seems to have gone back to its old ways. Or its new ways, I should say. been thinking maybe I should just, you know, not use bartender and go back to the original UI, because I have made my cam smaller, so there is a decent amount of room like right here, so I probably could, you know, fit the old UI. It's just, it's a lot bigger. And I kind of like what I've done with Bartender because it's a little bit smaller. And it shows more gameplay than UI. My favorite kind of UI, that's if you've been playing the class for a long time, is you kind of just remove all the keybinds. And you have like a weak aura that shows, you know, the cooldowns of your abilities. And it's usually like, say around like this big. It's like a square. Much smaller than this. And it really, it's like the cleanest UI I've ever seen. The only thing is you need to remember all of your cooldowns. And on LVUI, you can make that work. Like once you remember all of your keybinds, you can kind of hide it without, but keep it there. Except it's only when you scroll over it. So say like you put your mouse, it's mouse over. So if you put your mouse over here, this would show. But if I removed my mouse, this UI here would disappear. And it looks really clean. It's like my favorite version of UI. Oh, here's the fire spirits. Nice. Just wondering where these guys were. Crossbow. Alright, so these guys aren't that strong. Sure, we get a totem down for this one. Just we won't be able to get any fire abilities on it. These elementals look pretty cool though. I mean, yeah, the main reason why I don't do that UI is because I just wouldn't remember my keybinds. I'd always be like rolling in and out. I think you can do that with Bartender. I think you can do mouse over. I haven't really checked. But I'd always be like looking. Because some of the keybinds I don't really remember. And it's because that's what happens when you play a lot of alts. Really only works, I think, for players that, you know, stick to one class, maybe two tops. Alright, let's head down here. What are these guys? Uilaru. Not too sure who that is. Been getting a decent amount of comments from people telling me to play a human. I haven't played a human on this channel, so I guess it is, we are due to eventually play a human. And it would be cool to check out Outland Forest again. Fight Hogger. Not sure what class I'll play. I've been told to play Priest, Warrior. And I'm not too sure if we'll play Retail or Classic. I'm down for either. They've made Hogger look so different in Retail. Like, he doesn't even look like Hogger. He looks so clean in Retail. Looks like he, like, got a haircut, you know? Doesn't have that savage gnoll vibe like he does in Classic. Yeah, I have to admit, Outland Forest is it's probably one of the better starting areas. Gold Tooth's a pretty cool kobold that you get to fight in a mine. It's got a cool atmosphere. I would say it's better than Dirthar. But is it better than the Barrens? Nah. Not better than the Barrens, but I'll say it's better than Dirthar, that's for sure. Alright, see what happens here. I fear that this land may be without hope.
Go forth.
When all of the elemental souls of this region have been placed inside the totem, we will commune with them and find out if anything can be done. Shadowmoon Valley.
Strength.
Ildari Naga of the region have taken control of the only clean water supply that exists in Shadowmoon Valley. Directly north of here, you will find the lair of the Naga Coil Scar. Around Coil Scar are pockets of agitated water that howl to the land in anguish. It is at those pockets that the enraged spirits of water now wander. Travel to Coil Scar and use the Totem of Spirits to capture watery souls. You will find the largest concentration of these spirits near Coil Scar system.
For the Horde.
Alright, so we might have trouble with these water guys, so we'll see how we do here. We may have to use our fire spells. Surprised we're not pulling this guy. Usually, like, you know, our aggro radius is like, should be pretty high. We're only level 68. Alright, so here we are. Going to fight the enraged water elementals. We got a key. So we gotta find a chest. Alright, so our elemental won't be able to really do much against these guys. Probably why he's not attacking. That's fine. The fireball's pretty strong. We have a boiling blood debuff, damage taken increased by 20%, and damage dealt increased also by 10%, so that's pretty cool. Where are the other water elementals here? It's a pretty good debuff, even though we take more damage. I don't mind doing more damage, that's for sure. Let's get our mana back up here. Totem. Not really much you can do against water elementals as a mage. Like, I don't even think we can deep freeze them. I'm pretty sure you can't. Because we can't use Frost Nova, so that means we can't use deep freeze. Alright, so we just need to find one more. Should be one over here. There we go. We're out of mana. Hopefully the dot will work here. Oh, we got Scorch. There we go. And we've captured all of those souls. And we'll turn this in. And we'll probably do a BG at 69. See how we do. Been a while. Hopefully we don't run into a bunch of DK bots, but it might happen.
Loktar, go forth to
Wherever
victory.
you find Naga, you almost certainly find tortured water
Be
spirits.
safe.
Only air remains, Travis.
Strength.
Alright, guys. Well, looks like we are on the quest for
May your blade
more
never
spirits.
dull.
But I'm going to call this episode here, and next episode we will try to finish this quest chain. But as always, thanks for watching. Keep your heads up. Later.